Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shojo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm your host, Stella Luna.
And Laura said hello.
Welcome to episode 10!
I'm so
Yay!
excited.
Oh, I'm so excited too. Oh my god, I can't believe we're on episode 10. That's like 2.5 months of episodes.
I know. Time went by fast.
It honestly did. It honestly went by really fast. And you know what else went by really fast?
What?
The announcement of Miku Expo and the ticket sales. You like my little segue? That was a nice segue.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, the announcement came out of freaking nowhere.
Yes. This episode, we're talking about Vocaloid, by the way, if you can tell by the title. It's all going to be about Vocaloid, and we got some complaints, and we're, with Miku Expo being announced literally this last week and tickets going up, I thought we'd talk about it, while the picking's so good, while the topic's still hot and fresh right off the rack. Yeah, Miku Expo coming back. That's crazy.
I'm so excited. I've never gone to one. So, yeah.
I haven't gone to one either. This would be my first Miku Expo as well. I was supposed to go in 2020, but obviously we all know how that went. It went poorly. Yeah, and I've been waiting to go to Miku Expo since it was Mikuopolis in 2011.
Damn.
I've been wanting to go to this goddamn concert for so goddamn long, and I hadn't had the chance to do it until 2020. So 2020 rolled around, and then it was like, oh yeah, haha, you're gonna have to wait another like 4 years now.
Yeah.
And that was the worst.
Yeah.
Well,
I was super excited thinking that 2023 we would get like an in-person, like this year we would get an in-person Miku Expo. But once they announced it was VR, I was like, oh, dang it.
Well, I was shocked that we were getting Miku Expo next year because they announced the VR. And I was like, this isn't the Miku Expo I wanted, though, because, it really isn't VR because all they're doing is uploading a goddamn YouTube video, and it just has VR capabilities, as in you could put on your VR headset, and, yeah, you could, like, turn around and all that, but, like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Well, because,
That's
like,
so stupid.
No, it is. It's really dumb. And it's funny because, like, I've seen people be like, well, why do you want to just go watch a screen? Right? Why you want to watch a screen? But here's the thing, right? Is I want to be there in person with the in-person band and around other fans. Because what you're doing is you're paying for the experience as well. You're paying to be there with other people.
Yeah, and you can say the same thing about literally any concert.
That's true. It's like, well, why would you go to a concert when you could just go watch it on YouTube,
Exactly. Like, so many bands have, like, back in the day, dating myself, they had, like, their live concert DVDs and stuff like that. Now everything's up on, like, Netflix and Disney Plus and stuff like that. Like, why would you go? Or even, like, the Eras tour is coming to movie theaters sometime soon. So I'm like, you can make the same argument there. Like, why would you go spend, like, $500 to go see Taylor Swift live when you can pay like 16 or I don't even know. Theaters are so expensive.
They are not as expensive as the $500 ticket, but
yeah.
But still,
like, literally, it's the same argument. Like, we just want to experience the music with other fans. That's literally it.
That's the only thing. That's exactly, like, I want to go be there live. I want to feel the energy of the crowd as we all like scream for all of the Vocaloids to play and be like, yeah, Miku, Kaito, Mako, Rin, Len, Luca, like, let's go, And I'm just like, I'm thrilled. Like, I'm thrilled to just be able to go finally, because I was so heartbroken in 2020 when it got canceled. Obviously it was going to get canceled, but it still was heartbreaking because I had been waiting so long to go. Like, it was I bought those tickets in 2019. And I had been wanting to go since 2011 when they brought Miku and the gang over to the US for the first time. And that was 2011. So what? By that point, it's been 8 years. Now Now for me it has been over 10 years. It's been
Oh my, yeah.
wait, let me do the math.
Uh,
1, 4, 13 years. It's been 13 years, you know, and that's a long time.
dude, that's how old a lot of Project Sekai fans
I
are.
know. Okay, you know what's so funny too? It's like, okay, we're gonna talk about this because I have a bone to pick with Project Sekai fans.
And I'm gonna let her pick the bone
I'm
as
gonna
the Project Sekai.
I got a
I'm gonna be the
bone.
mother, but like,
First of all,
go ahead.
I I'll make this point a little later, okay? But first of all, I've seen a lot of Project Sekai fans, especially on TikTok, been spewing some goddamn bullshit. They've been spewing some bullshit. Now, look, okay? I appreciate this Project Sekai fans who are getting into Vocaloid. It was what introduced them. I am not against people like younger fans getting into Vocaloid. I'm not against that. You know, like I'm like, yeah, you get into Vocaloid. You go through like the phase of like being really cringy and with all the Vocaloids and all that stuff. We all went through that, you know?
Yeah.
But my problem is that there are just like, there's a very specific type of Project Sekai fan I cannot stand. And it is
Yeah.
the ones that shit all over Vocaloid, or they like the songs, but they like shit all over the Vocaloids and the producers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
how can you do that? I don't understand. The game is literally built by Sega. All the characters that you know, like Toya and Emu and all of these other characters, they are made up specifically for the game because it's really about the Vocaloids. Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Like
I
they're
mean,
not.
the game is centered around the Vocaloids
Yes.
and like their virtual universes. I mean,
And
the
uses
Sekai is a
all of
regular.
their goddamn songs.
Yeah.
Like, look, I downloaded Project Sekai when it first came out, right? And I was
Yeah.
interested. I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested. Yeah, Vocaloid game. I learned I don't really like phone rhythm games very much. I'd rather hold a controller and play Project Diva,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's literally called Project Sekai. It's a Vocaloid game because anything that's project, including Vocaloids, is a Vocaloid thing. It is just a Vocaloid thing.
Project Diva.
Project Diva. Yeah. Project Mirai.
Project Sekai.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is right. There is Project Mirai, which is, for those who don't know, it's the DS version of Project Diva, which actually includes Gumi, so that's pretty cool. But, but like, it's mind-boggling to me that there are fans who just shit all over it, right?
Yeah, I mean the game is literally called Colorful Stage, or depending in Japan it's Project Sekai, but still featuring Hatsune Miku. You would not have the game without without the Vocaloids. Like,
Well,
it just makes no sense.
I think a problem I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I've talked about this in earlier episodes about how, you know, you should like, you can curate your own like experience, and like, you know, you can like, if you don't like something, just like ignore that, you know, like if you don't like a series or like a game or something, like just don't interact with it, ignore it, whatever.
Yeah.
Here's my problem though, is as an active Project Sekai hater, it's really hard to do that when it's so intertwined with a fandom I love to death. Right? Like, it's really hard because, like, I've made videos about Vocaloid in the past, and I've talked about, like, Vocaloid, and I cannot go without a video where Project Sekai fans bring up Project Sekai in my comments. Even though I am not talking about Project Sekai, I am just talking about Vocaloid. So for example, I had made this video on TikTok talking about, I really want Kaito to have some songs where he's being sexy, hot Kaito, right? Like Cantarella, right? Like, I love Cantarella. I need Kaito to do more of that. I need people to use Kaito for more like that stuff instead of just always using goddamn Len for every single song, okay? Like, look, I get it. But like, come on, Kaito's right there. He's right there.
He's right there. Yeah.
And I had Project Sekai fans in my comments going, yeah, he has songs. If You Do is a Kaito song. And I'm like,
No.
it's not a Kaito. I was like, what? Well, first of all, I've listened to that cover. It's a cover, by the way. And oh my God, Kaito's tuning's horrible. What? Why does he sound so bad in that song? Second of all, that song is so incredibly old. It is from 2012. It was uploaded to Nico Nico Doga when it was called Nico Nico Doga. And it featured Miku, Rin, Luca, Gumi, and Iya. And it was by Ume Tano? I think it's called. I think that's
Umetano,
yeah, Ume Tano. Yeah, it is it's produced by Ume Tano. It is not a Kaito song. It is not even a song by men. It is a female Vocaloid song. And I'm like, it's not even by them. It's a cover. And I can't even say anything. Like, I can't even be like, I'm going to talk about Vocaloid without Project Sekai being brought up in the conversation.
And you can't even prove them right. Like, you could literally just say what you said right here. They would try to prove you wrong, although you are right.
Yes.
And that's the frustrating thing, because I get it. You're very passionate. And this is coming from me. I love Project Sekai.
Yeah.
I think a lot of you know that. I make a lot of content about it. It's taken over my, it's taken over my TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely made a lot more Project Sekai videos and manga videos in the last year. But as a representative of the Project Sekai fandom, and respect your elders. God damn it.
Respect your elders. Well, it's here's the thing too, is like I would not mind as much. But I feel like I think this is a big problem with what I have with the Project Sekai fandom is that I'm seeing a lot of history repeating itself in Project Sekai. Right? Yeah. So back in the day, like we're talking like the late 2000s, even early 2010s, where it was very common for people to re-upload these videos or re-upload like songs from Nico Nico Doga, which is where a lot of the Vocaloid songs were posted. And if you don't know what Nico Nico Doga is, or Nico Nico now, it is basically Japanese YouTube. It is just a Japanese YouTube. It's like, that's where when you find like new songs on YouTube, usually it comes from Nico Nico. And people would re-upload like the songs or the videos. And what they would do is they would go, World is Mine by Hatsune Miku, right? Instead of it being Ryo, who is actually the one who made the song. And it feels like history is repeating itself. And we elder Vocaloid fans are like, hey, you have to credit the producer. It is not by the Vocaloids, and it's not by these made up groups. Like Vivid, like one time somebody said, oh, this is Ready Steady by Vivid Bad Squad. And I'm like, it's Giga P. It's literally Giga P. That's who made the song. And they're like, well, it's still by Vivid Bad Squad.
The cover is by Vivid Bad Squad.
Yes.
And that's like, it's a big difference.
Yes.
Crediting them as the original artist instead of who actually made it, which was the producer.
Yes. Well,
I feel like they just don't get the importance of actually crediting properly.
Yeah. Well, I just covered a Wowaka song, which was Rolling Girl, like 2 weeks ago. And in my cover, I don't go Rolling Girl by Stella Luna. I go Rolling Girl original, like Rolling Girl covered by Stella Luna, original by Wowaka, right? Still crediting the original producer, right? Yeah. I'm still crediting, even though I'm the one on the vocals, right? I'm still crediting the person who made the song, right? Vivid Bad Squad covered the song. They didn't make it. They didn't write it. They didn't do any of that. It was covered. It's covered by them. Yes, was Giga P commissioned for the song for the launch of Project Sekai. Yes.
Yeah.
Right? But he still made the song.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of Project Sekai fans need to like learn that you need to start learning the producers and don't shit on them. Like, there was some bullshit that was happening with Wowaka. Like, someone was like, why is Miku crying for Wowaka? It's just a hologram. And like, they went off into the comments, and I'm like, I don't know. You know, like, why do you cry when you watch any anime? They're not real. You know, they're not, that their feelings aren't actually real. It's just written. It's just made up. On top of that, Wowaka is a very important Vocaloid producer who passed away in 2019. Miku crying represents the fandom mourning for Wowaka. That's why everyone's crying, is because Miku represents something.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of Vocaloid, like in general.
Yes. Yes.
So I just like I don't get it. Like, and even like Project Sekai highlights this that you can be whoever you want to be, whatever version you want to be, as long as you like, you know, e- everything's built from your emotions, and yeah, that's how you express yourself. So some people just choose to express themselves through, voice banks that have their own character.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fandom just gravitates towards that. Like Miku has become, and not only Miku, just all the Vocaloids have become kind of like parts of a lot of us. Like
Yes.
they're we grew up with them. They're still part of our life as adults. Like they're just a huge chunk of what makes us even know like where I'm going. But like if you took Vocaloid out of like my life, it would be a huge chunk of like my personality and my upbringing as an
Yes.
adulthood.
Just gone.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
completely gone. I agree. And here's the other thing too, is that I I better not see any of these goddamn Project Sekai Vocaloid haters at the goddamn Miku Expo, at the concert. All right? Because like there are some of them that are going, and I'm like, please,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is Miku Expo. It's a Vocaloid concert. It is not a Project Sekai concert. All right? It's not Project. You're not going to see any Project Sekai characters anywhere. Maybe people cosplaying them. But even then, I feel like, okay, this might be my hot take here, but I feel like if you shouldn't even cosplay Project Sekai at Miku Expo. It's because it's not a Project Sekai concert. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe
I
that's
would
me.
make the
I just don't
argument.
want to see it.
Yeah. I would make the argument maybe you can cosplay like the Vocaloids that are
Yes.
within the game, like the
Yes.
different versions of Niku or Kaito or whatever.
Yeah.
But like cosplaying the characters, I mean, you could, but it's not really.
It's not about them. It's not
Yeah,
about them.
yeah. It's not a Project Sekai
Look,
thing.
I wanted to experience Miku Expo before Project Sekai. Like,
Hmm.
I want to know, okay? Because like, I'm gonna be real, all right? Like, people, I hate, like, going back to like the correcting thing, right? Because I've had people like sit there and trying to correct me on things, and I'm like, I was there when the dark magics were written, which,
Yeah.
right? I was probably literally crying in my room listening to Rolling Girl while you were being conceived.
That's an accurate thing because they're very young. Yes.
I was because I got on the Vocaloid in 2008.
Mhm.
2008, okay? I have a sibling, right, who is 15. Yeah. Yeah, I think Wowaka released Rolling Girl in like 2009, something like that. So like in 2009, I was a teenager sitting in my room, probably sobbing my eyes out to Rolling Girl because I was the angsty, depressed teenager, and you were probably being conceived. Let me have my moment. Let me have my moment at Miku Expo, okay? I've been waiting so long for this.
That's the thing, like, oh my god, it. I won't say that it frustrates me. It just makes me roll my eyes so far behind that I can see my own damn brain.
Hmm.
Like it's Vocaloid is such an, you know, I was gonna say well established, but uh, the fandom is very old. I think this, and I mentioned this in a little TikTok that I just posted um when we were recording this episode.
Hmm.
For the young Project Sekai fans going to the show, this will be their first exposure to how old the Vocaloid fandom is.
Oh
Because
yeah.
they just assume that it's a bunch of kids their age that are into this music, and the reality is, mm,
No,
no.
everyone that I'm going with is like late 20s, like
Yeah.
it all in their 30s. We have like another friend of mine is almost 40. So like we are going, and like a lot of us, all of us are like older adults, right? We're all like
Mm-hmm.
older, like late 20s or like in our 30s. And like they will see how old the fandom is. But here's the other thing too, is like I saw one time, I saw this was also another like reason why I don't like Project Sekai, because I saw a video and it was somebody cosplaying, I think they were cosplaying Luca, and they were like basically like talking into the camera saying, well, Project Sakai saved Vocaloid. It was dying. They literally said the fandom was dying. And I'm like, that is completely wrong.
No, 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 no. Yeah,
No.
no.
I was like, that's completely wrong, because here's the thing. The fandom got older. Yes, but
Yeah.
that doesn't
Mhm.
mean we just died, right? Like just like we're not on our deathbeds. I mean, like not physically
I
on our
mean,
deathbed.
according
Sometimes
to
I feel
TikTok youth, we're middle
we're
aged.
middle age. I hate that. I hate. Anyways, no, no, no. But like we're not dying. Like the Vocaloid fandom was not dying. It's just we're older, and so we're not
Mhm.
participating in fandom the same way as we used to. Right? Like we're not
Yeah.
loud about it. We're not all over like online, like like commenting on everything and making memes and all that stuff. We're just listening to the music and buying the merchandise now, right?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe like participating a little bit in fandom spaces online, but nothing like crazy like we used to when we were teenagers.
I mean, let's be real. Like, we got other shit to do.
It's true.
Adults.
It's true. I
Yeah.
listen to Vocaloid all the time. I'm literally working,
Mhm.
and so I work from home, and I'll literally be sitting there rigging a model, and I just have Vocaloid blasting all the time. I literally listen to it all the time, right? And I feel like that's
Right.
how most the fandom is just listening to it. They just listen to it because there's
Yeah.
no point in like commenting and all that stuff. We're just like listening, you
That's
know?
literally what I listen to when I go work at the office. Like, I know I can focus on my
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
I just listen to it the whole entire 8 hours that I'm working. I have my little Miku like figure on my
Mhm.
desk at the
Well, if
office.
it was dying, then like the figures and all the merchandise and stuff would have ceased to
It would have
exist.
stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, dude, I feel like there's even more collabs now than there was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up with the collabs. Like
Yeah.
it was not dying.
No, it was not dying. And that was like something that really bothered me, because then the comments were full of like teenagers being like, yeah, it was dying. It was dying. And I was like, it's not. It was not dying. It's just everyone became an adult. Like a big majority of the fandom are adults with money now. And so the way they participate in fandom is by going to the concerts and buying merchandise and hanging out with their friends, because more than likely they also have friends who are into it and they talk about it, and they're like, "Oh, hey, did you see this new song?" Because like anytime a video, like a producer uploads a new like video or new
Yeah.
song, that thing has millions of views.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally Echo by Crusher, right?
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
was, I think, only a few years, like not a few years ago, but like I would say like maybe, when was the last time I like looked like at one point I looked at it and it had like, I don't know, like 20 million, 30 million views on it. Now
Hmm.
that shit has almost 80 million views, like almost 100 million. We're getting close to 100 million on that singular video. which by the way, Crusher wrote that when they were 18. They made that when they were 18. It's crazy. I met Crusher at a con. I met Crusher at a con, and that's what they said. They were like, "Oh, I wrote that when I was 18. I did not expect it to take off the way it did." And I'm like, "That's crazy. That's
That is
super
crazy.
crazy." They're so nice. They were really nice. I got to hang out with them a little bit. They were super sweet. Um, them and like Empath P. But
Mm.
no, it's just like it like the fandom isn't dying. Like the fandom isn't dying, and I hate when I see like Project Sekai fans act like they saved the fandom because they didn't. They didn't. They're you guys are
Savior
Jesus.
conflict.
You're not walking on ramune. You're not
First of
taking
all-
water and turning it into ramune.
I will say a lot of Project Sekai fans did not start playing the game when it came out.
No.
When the game first came out in like late 2021, it was a lot of the Vocaloid fans that
Yes.
downloaded the game because at the time, I mean, Sega promoted it a little bit in the US, but not heavily. Like now they're
No.
going heavily.
Yeah.
But in 2021, I knew of it. I forgot when it was coming out. I actually found out that it was already out through Utapri.
Rip
Because
Utapri.
I
Rip
know.
Utapri. You want to talk about a fandom that's dying?
Ugh, that one is dying.
Oh, it's like almost dead.
Oh my god. Rip.
Rip.
I got an ad for Colorful Stage for Project Sekai while
Mhm.
playing Utapri, and I was like, oh, it's out already? And then I downloaded it. Well, that's how it happened. Like the early days, it really did not have that many kids.
No.
Not at all.
I guarantee. Yeah, I was like probably not. I mean,
Mm-mm.
the other thing too, right, is like I hate this idea that like Project Sekai like saved Vocaloid, because the other thing too is like, how would you save Vocaloid? Like logistically, how does it save Vocaloid? Right? Like how does someone who doesn't have, more than likely doesn't have money to spend, save Vocaloid, right? Because like Krypton and Sega would look at the numbers, not just like how many downloads, but how much money is being put into it, right? Like
This
people are
reminds me of,
spending.
like, this reminds me of when this was, I think, last year, when the youth of TikTok was very surprised that adults play Project Sekai, and they just completely dismissed the fact that it's adults. They're the ones that are paying for the monthly subscriptions and just paying period for any gacha game. They're adults.
Yes.
Grown ass adults with jobs. We're the ones that fund all these games.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure most of these games are aimed for adults because that's who has
They
the
are.
money.
I mean, in Japan, it's just all like salarymen playing these games.
Yeah, because a lot of times they're playing these games when they're on their way to like work on the train.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yep.
it's the adults who are funding it. And like Vocaloid, like it is very weird to see how like the fandom has kind of changed, right? Like how it's kind of like evolved over the years. And you know, kind of going back to like the producers not being credited. Like I'm pretty sure Wowaka wrote a song on that. I think that's Unhappy Refrain, where it was basically like not being credited, right? Not being credited and not like being appreciated. And because they are the ones who write the songs. There's actually a music not a producer, a like an artist who's not a Vocaloid artist, by the way, but like something very similar happened. His name is Tom Ham Hat Kyo, and he's like this rapper, and
Okay.
this very first like video he put out, it wasn't his first video, but it was like this animated video that he put out, and it included this like kind of girl character, and her name was, I think Princess is her name, and this video and like song went like crazy. It was really good, but everyone started to like only know the girl and not like the actual guy who wrote and produced the song, and he's the artist of it, right? And in his next video, the next like music video he put out with this character, it's actually him and this character, and how like everything's going good because he wrote this song, and this character is like, everything's going great, but then everybody was only paying attention to the character and not to him, the one who actually made the song, right? And I think it happens so often with Vocaloid,
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
where people just don't know the producers. Now, sometimes I don't always remember the producers at the top of my head because ADHD happens, right? But I do know I do for the most part. I'm like, these are the producers I really like, right?
Yeah, you know your favorites, and
Yes.
then the world the world of like Vocaloid producers, it's a very large one. Like you have like your main players, and then you have up
Mm-hmm.
and coming ones, and then you have people that just do it for fun. Maybe they're just a passionate Vocaloid fan and
Mm-hmm.
occasionally upload something. So it's a very big world, and it's hard to keep track of everyone.
Yes.
Hmm
It's super hard.
This also reminds me of like with Rocky. People don't know that Mikito P sings in that song with Len.
Yes. Yes. With Rin? Wait,
Yay!
yeah,
Rin.
it's Rin. It's Rin. Yeah. I was like, wait. Yeah. Yeah, because it's then they replace it with Len.
Yeah.
Replace it with Len, and it's like, no, he actually sings in the song with her, you know? And I don't know, like, to me, I'm like, if you are going to enjoy Vocaloid songs, but like, I did see some people who don't like the sound of the voice banks, but they like the songs, right?
Yeah.
Still just respect the Vocaloids, right? And I saw this comment, and let me find it real quick. Let me see. I saved it on my phone. I know I'm gonna be frozen here for a second, but
It's okay.
I screenshotted it. Okay. So someone had commented on this video saying, a Project Sekai fan saying stuff about Wowaka is crazy, like their game doesn't milk his songs for money. Keep his name out of your mouth. And somebody had replied to it, a Project Sekai fan had replied to it. It's not his song, it's Vocaloid's rightful song, right? Saying that, well, yeah, it belongs to Vocaloid, because they were saying it belongs to Vocaloid or to Crypton because they used Miku. You used Miku. And you said this in your video, and because I was going to bring this up, and I'm like, you said it in your video. It is saying something like that is so incredibly dumb. Like, it is the most stupid thing I've ever heard.
Stupid. It's the stupidest thing.
It's so dumb, because that would be like me saying, oh, well, I play bass. I play the bass, right? And let's say I had like a Yamaha bass, or maybe a keyboard. I don't know. Like, just like an instrument by Yamaha. And I made a song. I produced a song using one of those instruments. That would be like saying that because I used a Yamaha branded keyboard, the song I produced now belongs to Yamaha.
That's how stupid it sounds. It's literally that.
Because Vocaloid is not, like, the Vocaloids are not or V-Synth, I guess now, but they're not real people. They're instruments.
Tool. They're an instrument. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not very nice to say, calling them a tool. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Apologies to Hatsune, Miku, and gang.
The other thing that really, something that also has been brought up since Project Sekai has been like now popularized is this made me so mad when people got upset about Magnet and it having Luca and Miku in it. Because they were like, Miku's 16 and Luca's 20. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just gonna walk away. Like, because yes, I think, my opinion is the ages.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Project Sekai fans attacked freaking Naoto Fuga for sharing fan art of Kaito and Miku.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. Okay, because here's the thing, right? Yes. Does Miku have an age, quote unquote age? You guys can't see my air quotations, but age,
There's air
right?
quotations.
Age. She's 16, quote unquote. But here's the thing. I've always said this. Miku is just Japanese Barbie. That's what she is. She can be whatever you want her to be. You can make her older. You can make her younger. You can make her a boy. You can make her a girl. You can make her non-binary. You can do you can make her any race. You can make her even an alien, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Miku is like everything and nothing all at once.
Yes.
She is Japanese Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm like, with Miku and like Luca, right? Mm-hmm. In the context of the song, it is just about two girls in a forbidden love, because it was forbidden love back then, right? Like, in this forbidden love where they are confused about their feelings and how they feel for each other, and that it is literally the Vocaloid lesbian anthem, and like, that's all it is. Their ages do not matter in the song at all.
Yeah.
They don't matter. And in most songs, they do not matter. And here's a little bit of Vocaloid history for you. So, up until Miku, none of the Vocaloids had ages. Mako does not have an official age. Kaito does not have an official age. Yep. Lola, Leon do not have official ages. Any Vocaloid that's just come before Miku did not have any ages. The reason that Miku has an age is solely because of marketing purposes. That is it. Because during 2006 to 2007, around that time, idol culture was booming, right? So they're like, okay, so why not we make this Vocaloid and we go, oh, hey, let's just like make her 16 to market her as a virtual idol, because idols are like 16, 17-year-olds, 15-year-olds, right? So they just slapped on 16 to her and were like, here she is, our virtual idol. And everyone ate that shit up. But that's all it ever meant, was just marketing purposes. And it worked really well. Obviously, she's everywhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's why you don't see Mako and Kaito with canonical ages. Like, yes, you can headcanon Kaito being like 30, right? But also, Kaito could be 17. Let's be like, you could make him 17 in a song. Like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You know, like, usually it's the intent. Like, if you're like, yes, I want Miku to date Kaito and I want him to be her teacher and she be underage, then yeah, maybe a little weird, okay? But like, if someone just ships Kaito and Miku and that's just all they do, it's not weird. Just because your headcanon age of Kaito is like 30 or 40 years old doesn't mean that's his actual age.
Yeah.
That's my Vocaloid history lesson for you for today. I have more.
I felt so bad for Naoto Fuga. Like,
I know.
Man. I mean, and I feel like a lot of the fandom, they get very excited that he's so responsive, talking about him. But there's so many times that they cross the line.
All the time.
It's like he's middle age.
Yes.
So he's middle age. Like, respect the man. Like, he loves his son Kaito. We all know that. We love that about him. But English is not his first language.
No.
Sometimes he does mess up on, like, maybe you read it as a native English speaker and kind of like, that sounds kind of weird. But that's not his native language, first.
Well,
second of all, when he reshares like a simple fan art, he just likes the freaking fan art. That's it. There's no other meaning.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Well, and here's the thing too, is that a lot of Japanese fans really dislike American fans or Western fans.
Yeah, and this is with any like
fandom. Yeah, they really don't like Western fans. They are shocked by, because Japanese people tend to be like, okay, I'm just gonna stay in my own lane. Like
Yeah.
they are like the perfect example of like stay in your lane, right? They don't like something, they just stay in their own lane. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna block and I'm gonna move on,
Yeah,
right?
and a lot of them do. Like on Twitter, they'll literally block any Westerner that follows them back.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Like it's because like there's a lot of like it's weird to me that like these that Project Sekai fans put these like morality on Vocaloids when like acting as if like these things about them are canon, you know?
yeah,
Like yes, yeah, like listen, okay? There is some really fucked up shit that happens in the Vocaloid fandom. Like I've come across my fair share of Len x Len fan art. It's very weird, right? Like that's very strange. You know,
yeah.
like specifically like they're so goddamn funny. It's so funny that like people ship Len with himself, but like they'll do like different versions of Len from like Project Diva. Like a really popular ship is Blue Moon Len x Punkish Len. Why?
No.
I don't know. Okay, they're like they're different people, and I'm like, what do you mean they're different people? It's the same person. Like, or like, oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Speaking of Len, I did this. Do you remember that the little joke
Oh,
video I
yeah.
did where
I was gonna bring it up earlier.
okay, so I made this video of so like my head can come off, right? And I took like Len hair, right, with the little ponytail at the top, and I put it on my face or my head, and then you know to the Servant of Evil song, and it's like do 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 do, and then my head,
Yeah.
you know, my head pops up just like that, you know, and I had so many comments being like wrong character, wrong character, wrong character, and I'm like.
Really? That's Alan.
That's Alan. That's actually Alan. And that's actually well. First of all, Alan's hair is not as fucking recognizable as Len's hair. Second of all, he's the one who's singing the goddamn song. Well, depending if it's Servant of Evil or Daughter of Evil, you know. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Because
there's no Alan voice bank.
no, there's no Alan voice bank. Here's the thing, too, is that Alan, the name did not come in until way fucking. Where do you think they get the name Alan from? Huh? Len? Alan? Hello? Because if you go back to any of the Servant of Evil / Daughter of Evil songs, and you go back to like the ones that were posted first, and the comments that are the oldest, it all says Len and Rin because they didn't have fucking names until like 2012. They are Len and Rin. That's who they are. And then later they were like, yeah, this is a really popular song. Like these are popular songs. And then we're going to make more songs. And then now we're going to make a light novel. And we're going to do a stage play. And we're going to give them different names because we can't really use Len and Rin because
What
like.
do we call this? What do we call this? This is all marketing.
Marketing.
We wanted to make money out of this.
Yes. So they made like a different, like they made this whole other series, right? But at the end of the day, it is still a Vocaloid song featuring Rin and Len. So don't fucking come into my comments and tell me, well, actually, it's Alan. It's fucking Len. Let's be real. They just gave him a different name because they couldn't use Len. Ah! It really makes me mad.
It makes me mad too. Like even okay, because they added the whole lore and they did a whole event in Project Sekai. So we got the cards. The cards are illustrated beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters also have like their costumes that's in the fan art and not the fan art. The art and everything.
Yes.
There is no Alan model. There is Len.
It's
so
Len.
When you're dressing up Len in Alan's costume, it is still Len. You do not have Alan as a character you can choose in Project Sekai.
Think of Alan as kind of like a alternate universe of Len. That's what he is essentially.
That's literally what it is.
They're the same person, right? Len's playing a character right? In this, imagine this is Len, because the joke is that it is still a Len song, but the thing is putting Alan's hair onto my body, you would not get the same fucking joke. At least not everyone would get the joke, right?
Yeah.
Plus, how do I get the ponytail to be behind my head, like down low, because it's a down low ponytail.
Yeah, it's
I
a low
can't.
ponytail.
I can't just like pull it would just be the bangs and it would not be the same, okay? But putting the Len hair, the iconic Len hair, it's just, you got the joke. You literally went, well, actually that's Alan. You got the joke. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. Because if you have to correct me, you got the joke.
Yeah. No, I got exactly the same thing when I showed my Ninja Petite figures, because there's an Alan one. And I said Len in the video. Oh my god. Then the
Actually,
kid,
that's Alan.
actually, yeah, I fucking know, okay? But still,
It's like
it
a code
came,
word.
the box literally, the little box literally says Len. So shut the fuck up.
Wait. Now, see, now I'm gonna have to look it up later, like probably after the episode. You know what? What is it? We're at 46 minutes so far. Okay, 46 minutes. Then the picture's going up right here, right there, right here. Just the show proof, right here. I'll put it in after in editing. I'll edit that shit in because like it is annoying. It is so annoying. I guess like it's not fun. Because, like, as women, because we've talked about this before, as women, men try to catch us in lies constantly. So it kind of strikes a nerve in us when it comes from younger fans trying to correct us when we've been here, right? And it's like, it's the same feeling as being geek checked, and it's not fucking fun.
I remember there was one time that I did a TikTok live and you hopped in and you were talking about like, you were talking about when a song came out or something.
Yeah.
And somebody corrected you. And you were like, no, but I lived through it. You didn't live through this. Like, stop correcting.
Well, and sometimes you can be, and here's the thing, right? Sometimes the information is going to be wrong because I'm not like looking directly at the internet, right? Yeah. I can't have every single exact date at the top of my head. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it was around this time. Right? Like it came out like 2009 and then it's like, actually it was like 2010. I'm like, look, okay, I just remember being a teenager. All right. I was a teenager. I was a freshman in high school. Yeah. 2009 to 2010 was my freshman year. So yes, I was correct because I remember in my brain what year it was. I just couldn't remember if it was the beginning of the year or the end of the school year, you know? And like, you can't. Go ahead.
Like there's a way to like, I guess like fact check without like belittling someone.
Yes.
But when you kind of go like, actually, you're wrong. It's blah blah blah. It's like, okay, like I'm allowed to make a little, and in the grand scheme of things, like missing the year by like one or something, or maybe saying like, oh, it came out in March of 2017 and it came out in June 2017.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
No.
It absolutely does not matter.
Yeah, you can just be like, oh, I looked it up. It's this date. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of times when they correct you, it just sounds like, oh, you're stupid. Like, actually,
I know more than you. It's like I was there when the dark magics are written, which like every time, because I am such an old Vocaloid fan that Luca still feels like a new Vocaloid to me because she wasn't there when I got into Vocaloid. She was released afterwards. Like that's how long I've been a fan for. And like, because like when I think of like Vocaloid fan art, if it includes Luca, I'm like, man, that's the whole gang, right? But like the original to me in my brain will always be Mako, Kaito, Miku, Rin, and Len. And I remember when, even though Miku was still kind of like the most popular one, they were way more equal. back in the day. Like
Yeah.
like they were equal like to each other. I remember the character item wars. You know, Luca, I think Luca was supposed to have a goddamn sword. Like that was
Yeah.
one of the items that she could have had was a sword. And she ended up with a tuna, right? And like you guys go, "Oh yeah, like Miku has a leak and stuff like that." I don't know how many of you guys know that the character items are fan made. Like those are all fan made things. Like the Miku having a leak, Kaito liking ice cream, Mako being an alcoholic, you know, Rin liking oranges and Len liking bananas and like whatever happened to them in the road rollers. I miss the road rollers. I miss the goddamn road rollers. I don't know what happened. I don't know why we took them away from them. I love the fact that we had the two like more childlike characters driving the goddamn road roller. I just thought it was so funny. You know, Luca having the tuna, right? These were all character items that were given by the fans, where all the fans went, you know what? We're going to have character items for all of them. And then the game started to incorporate them into it. And, you know, and I think that's also why a lot of like, well, my headcanon is actually the canon version. Like, if you don't think that my headcanon is canon, then there's something wrong with you. You're a red flag, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
It's what
There's a lot of
bothers
that.
me. It's what bothers me is because Vocaloid has always been about creativity. And I think Project Sekai has kind of taken that away from the Vocaloids.
And you know what's funny? It's
Mhm.
like if you actually pay attention to the game,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they encourage.
Yes.
All the stories within the game with all the different units, that's exactly what they're encouraging. It's like you making like having these grandiose dreams
Yeah.
and making whatever, headcanon come to reality.
Hmm.
Like literally none of the units, they have a few songs that they've performed like in the real life world within like Project Sekai,
Yeah.
but most of the performances happen in the Sekai, so in the virtual worlds.
Hmm.
They're not actually performing in front of hundreds of people. Like all the audience is just us who like we don't exist in the game. We're just like literally in the game we're tofu heads.
Tofu heads.
Yeah, that's what the Japanese call it. The tofu heads, the
It
little expressionless characters that attend the virtual shows.
it just
But
doesn't make sense to me
it
that
goes it goes against the what the game is encouraging.
yeah. And because like that's what Vocaloid's always been about. It's about creativity. It's about like, you know, all of these characters can be whatever, you know, you want them to be. You can have headcanons
Mhm.
of how you kind of think of them, right? Like I think Miku is kind of a diva and she's kind of airheaded, but she has a
Yeah, yeah.
decent heart, right? She's really self-centered, but like in a way that she's like it's not mean, it's not like trying to be mean. It's just like she doesn't really like she just doesn't think about other people, right? Like Len
Yeah.
is like he's either like incredibly dumb or he is like also kind of like he's a teenage boy. If you get what
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Mhm.
Rin is like really sweet, but like if you get on her bad side, she will literally end you. Luca is just like the mature one. Mako is like the mom, but like in a kind of like almost like a sig mom kind of way, like a cigarette
Yeah,
mom.
I kind of see her like the cool mom, like the
Yeah.
Amy Poehler and Mean Girls.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You know, Kaito being kind of like a goofball, but like he has his moments, you know.
Mhm.
You know, I also remember a lot of like videos of Kaito just being naked with just the scarf. Like like that kind of goofball, you know. And like all of their personalities are like those are kind of my headcanon versions of them, right? But that doesn't mean that my headcanons are the only correct ones, right? I mean like, you know, you have like songs like Spice for Len, right?
Mhm.
And there's some music videos where they make him older, right? They make him
Yeah.
way older. And, you know, and then some of them like being still a high school boy or whatever, but like some of them they make him an adult too. And like that is the point of Vocaloid is being able to take these voices cuz that's what they are at the end of the day. They're just voices and voice banks. There's no age to them. There's none of that. Cause like, yes, they have ages, but like when you really think about it, right? The age is doesn't really matter because they don't have canon anything, like personalities or whatever, right? Because part of like when we talk about like age and like like being like underage and all that stuff includes like your decision making, your like your experience in life, your like so many
Yeah.
other things, right? That come with your age, but like Vocaloids don't have that. That's why the
Mhm.
age doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like it's just like I said, it's just a marketing strategy and that's all it's ever been.
Yeah. It literally is all marketing. I mean, how many Miku 15th anniversary figures did we get? From Good Smile, we basically got two, and then Sega came out with a few. It's all marketing.
It's all marketing. I mean, like if Vocaloids were aging with us, Miku would be 32.
Yes.
Like Miku would be 32 and like Ren and Len would be like I think they'd be like 20, they'd be 29
Damn.
or 30. They'd be 30. Because I was like, wait, cuz like I think Len came out when I was 13. Len and Ren came out when I was 13. And yeah, when I was 13. And so they were like a year older than me. So yeah, they're like 29, 30. That's crazy. That's like really
That,
crazy to
that's, that is crazy to think about when you put it that way.
yeah. Like if they were like aging with us, that's how old they would be. And like it just like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like as long as like if someone's going to make something weird with them, they're going to age down Miku. They're going to make it weird. They're going to be like, "Oh, well Miku is actually a 16-year-old schoolgirl and like Luca is actually like a teacher." Right?
Hmm.
They're going to make it weird. And like do you remember? Do you remember the guy who married Hatsune Miku?
Oh, he follows me on Twitter.
What he does?
Yeah,
Oh my god! I hope he's living his best life.
I think he is. I mean, he got a lot of shit, and
Oh,
I
he
mean,
did.
even for like, I do. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie, but I have seen interviews of him, and he does sound like a just a very normal guy who experienced a lot of like bullying and harassment, and
Yeah.
just was alienated by a lot of women. So, I mean,
You know
what?
what? He could have done other things.
Yeah, and
Like
he could have done the.
could have done some dark ass things, but he decided to marry Hatsune Miku. So you know what? Like
uh,
that. Who's
it's
that
not.
hurting?
I mean, my ace brain is just like, just be happy by yourself. But at the end of the day, if he's happy, then I guess.
Yeah, if he's happy, he's not hurting anybody. Then like, you know,
Uh,
is it
yeah,
is
but
it is it a little strange? Yes, it is a little
yeah,
a
yeah.
little, a little strange. But
Is
at
it a
the
little cringy? Yeah, I'll admit it. It is.
yeah. But like I said, if he's not hurting anybody, like, and he's just living his best life, then you go. Like you go and live your best life, married to Hatsune Miku.
You go, Glen Coco.
You go, Glen Coco. One for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco.
My God, no. Yeah, he follows me back on Twitter.
That's so funny. I had no idea. That's
He follows a lot of people though.
yeah. I mean, yeah. That's understandable. But I just remember when that happened. You know what?
Yeah, I remember too, because like it was a huge deal.
Oh my god, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. Do you
What?
remember when Hatsune Miku opened for Lady Gaga in like
Yes.
2014? Oh
Yup.
my god.
I mean, I didn't see it, but yeah, I remember.
Oh, I didn't
'Cause
see it either, but like,
it confused a lot of people. Like,
yes.
because like, I mean, for those of you who are younger or just were not aware of this, because I think it only happened in the U.S. leg of the tour. I don't think it
Yes.
happened everywhere. But yeah, Hatsune Miku opened for Lady Gaga. I think it was was it the Born This Way tour? I don't even remember anymore.
I don't
But
remember what tour it was. I just know it was 2014.
uh-huh.
Whatever tour
Yeah.
that was. But it's funny because Lady Gaga is actually a fan of Miku. She owns I mean, she like posted a photo of herself, I think on Twitter, holding
Hmm.
2 Miku figures. She loves Miku. Like, which is always so crazy to me because I'm like, I mean, I love Lady Gaga to begin with, but like, I was like, I like you even more. You like Hatsune Miku. Like, she was like, I want Hatsune Miku to open for me.
I
Like,
think that's such a badass move.
it is such a bad, and
Oh,
everybody in the audience is like, what is going on?
yeah. I mean, imagine just like the parents taking their kids. And they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Who is this? Who is this lady? Oh, did you see? Okay, speaking of which, did you see? Do you know who Polar is?
Yes, and
Did
I
you?
saw that
Yeah, you
she
saw
made a
it.
video. Yeah,
I could
yeah.
not tell if she was dissing on Miku or if she was like,
Well, here's what confused me
okay,
because there was also a video before that one where she covered was it the polka song
yeah,
by
yeah,
the, yeah, that one.
even Polka. I think
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
it's pronounced. I don't
with
know.
with a whole like Miku like version of her outfit. I don't even know.
Yeah,
It wasn't like I don't think it was a copy of Miku. It was just like Polar's colors with Miku's like costume. I don't even know.
yeah,
But that was posted before like the diss track.
and
So
I'm
it's like
like,
you acknowledge that that you're basically a Hatsune Miku ripoff.
well, that
And then you diss on her? What the
I was like, well, first, okay. First of all, like that whole thing was so dumb because like we all know like the metaverse is like such a buzzword. Like those are just
yeah, yeah.
buzzwords. They don't really mean anything, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like old people being like, the first virtual pop star in the metaverse, and it's like, okay, Miku's existed for a long time, but even before that, we've still had like the gorillas, right? Because
Yeah.
they've performed live, but like as like holograms before, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
VTubers have existed for years, and a lot of us are indies, right? There's a lot of indies who do stuff like that, like who make songs, who cover, who do all of that stuff. Like we've been, like Hololive has just had their first like in-person concert. Like they've been doing concerts like in person, right? And it was
Mhm.
like they introduced Polar and they're like, look at Polar. Which Polar's obviously an industry plant. Like, let's be real. Like, none of the numbers make any sense. When you look at like
That's an industry plant.
yeah, like when you look at the followers versus like the view count, right? Especially on YouTube, it's like this doesn't make any sense going on right now. Like, it's just an industry plant. And nothing against like whoever is behind Polar, like the person, if there is a person, by the way. Because I guarantee all of the TikToks, all the posts are not even from the actual person. It's probably just some social media person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's not Polar making these ideas. Like this is absolutely all corporate. It's just some girl who probably comes in, does some voice acting and singing and then just leaves for the day.
Did
Like
you see the one the AI virtual singer that they just released?
the AI virtual singer.
Yeah, I forgot the name. It was recently too because I saw a lot of people on especially on Twitter
Mhm.
just mention like, "Oh, like don't you talk bad about
Yes.
Hatsune Miku, blah blah
Oh
blah." But
my
it's like
god,
Hatsune Miku's not
yes.
AI.
Oh
Hatsune Miku's a voice bank. That's
oh my
very
god.
different
I,
from AI.
I was like, I have seen people because there was a whole conversation that basically where some animator like who did a FNAF X like Scooby Doo thing used
Hmm.
AI for voice acting and stuff like that, and he got basically blacklisted. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But like people were like Vocaloid couldn't come out today if because everyone hates AI blah 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 blah. And I'm like Vocaloid's not AI. Like vocal synth, all of that stuff is not AI. Like
It's not. Yeah.
the way it works is that it takes like so somebody comes in, someone who's consenting by the way. The person who comes in is consenting goes up, they go into the booth, and they go ah e ah o, and they go foo fe fa fo foo, like they just make all of these like sounds, and then basically it takes those sounds and it just pitches them into different ways. It's not AI at all. It's all manual. It's not the same thing as AI. Nobody would be upset if Vocaloid was released today, which is also just a stupid statement because Vocaloids are still released today. Like,
yeah, I mean, what's his name? The one English singer, he released his own Vocaloid this year. Um,
Porter Robson.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I mean, that totally made sense because he's been using Ivana for a really long time. So like that, I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense because like do you remember when Among Us was like really popular and like
yeah.
everyone was like, do 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 do, though it's the end of the world, do 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 do. That's Ivana. That's the Vocaloid. He used a Vocaloid. He loves Vocaloid. So like, yeah, him becoming a Vocaloid is like a no-brainer, right? But like, yeah, he released a Vocaloid. And like, yes, there is like, Tato came out with one, but it's like AI synth. But like, here's the thing though, it's still consensual. That's the difference, right? It's consensual and like, it doesn't sound bad too because like the AI part of it, it's not all AI. It's like AI I think is like helping it, right? But I don't think it's like strictly just AI, right?
Yeah.
And
The AI, if we can talk a little bit about that,
yeah.
because the Project Sekai fandom has really taken, like, they just took the AI
Oh
and just
my
ran with it.
god. Yes.
I I actually do have a problem with a lot of the AI covers because none of these voice actors consented to
No.
their voice used like that. And
They're
a lot of them, like, okay, I'll mention this, not because I'm a super fan, but yes, because I'm a super fan. But Kentito, he's
yeah.
a singer. He has
Yes.
his own singing career outside of Project Sekai and outside of
Yes.
every other musical franchise that he's in. Using his voice to sing other songs just feels very wrong.
It is
Because
wrong.
he covers a lot of songs like himself. He
Yes.
You don't need to go out of your way to create an AI cover of a song that he could very well cover. Like he's yeah, I'll let let me have my Candito fangirl moment.
Well, here's the
He,
thing.
he plays a guitar, he sings, like he's very well capable of
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
his own cover.
Yes. And here's the thing, it is wrong. Like AI is unethical, completely unethical,
Yeah.
especially in the middle of like the strike and everything. It's completely
Mhm.
unethical. I know the fans do not mean any harm by it. I know
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my god, I want to make my favorite character sing this song." But you are stealing someone else's voice to do that. And it's very wrong. Like, look, I get it. I enjoyed like this like cover of like what's the Linkin Park song? Like, duh, I don't know why. Doesn't matter how hard you
Oh, in
try.
the end? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
there was like a Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure like cover of it. It was hilarious, right? But
Yeah,
it's still wrong.
I feel like when the I guess, and this is kind of a gray area,
Hmm.
like when there's a zero possibility that that song could get covered.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Like I heard someone used and I'm not going to say Toya because Toya is a character. Kentito is the voice actor. So you're using his voice. You're not using Toya's voice.
Yeah.
So they made an AI cover of a Mexican song sung by Kentito.
Oh,
And
I did see this.
I'm like, "Oh, cool." Like I mean, I don't Kentito's not going to be singing in Spanish like ever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, that's kind of cool." But like when you start covering like I don't know, like YOASOBI songs or Japanese songs that I'm pretty sure he has covered, that's just odd.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like I know people don't mean harm by this,
Mhm.
but the problem is that if you keep letting these things go like as like, well, like they're not meaning any harm or anything, where does the line stop?
Yeah.
Right? And that's the problem. So it's either like all or nothing. And
Mhm.
I would and it should be nothing
Yeah,
because
it should be nothing.
AI because like yes, yeah, Kent Ito is probably never going to cover anything in Spanish. You know, the
Mhm.
voice actor for Dio is never going to sing, you know, Linkin Park, right?
Yeah.
Like but it's still really wrong. The other
Mhm.
thing is really wrong that I've seen Project Sekai fans do is
Mhm.
ripping the live 2D models from the app and
Yeah, I
using them
mhm.
on TikTok. And I'm going to be the first one to say it. Stop it. Do not do that. You are going to get in trouble with Sega. Like you do not want to mess with that. You do not want to mess with Japanese companies. They are literally the worst when it comes to that kind of stuff. There was who was it? This guy named Suede, right? Who made
Mhm.
videos about Pokemon, the anime, right? He got hit with a fine, right? He got hit and sued by the company but who makes Pokemon, right? And here's the thing. Yeah, he could never pay it. He doesn't have to pay it, right? Because if he doesn't pay it, you know, nothing's going to happen to him until he steps foot in Japan. Then he's going to get arrested. So, I don't know about you, but if you're a kid who's using these models, I would not use them because it's either use these models or potentially get a fine or never step foot in Japan. Like
Yeah.
that is just how serious it is. Like would you rather like play with these models or risk you being able to go to Japan? Because like I mean if you're underage and they're like, "Okay, we're going to hit you with a $10,000 fine." How are you going to explain that to your parents? You know that you've been
Mhm.
fined for $10,000 now because you're using a model that doesn't belong to you and it belongs into a game and you're profiting off of it on TikTok,
Yeah.
right? It's not worth the fine or the potential being never being able to go to Japan. And not to mention there are artists who worked really hard on those models and you should not be using them. They're not made for you to use as a play toy. Like don't do that, you know?
I
Like
think
yeah. Go ahead.
with that and also the AI is just I get it, you're trying to be creative, but at the same time, you don't have ownership
No.
of those voices. You don't have ownership of those models or characters. So it's one thing to create fan art, and I don't think AI and using the models is fan art.
No.
It's very different.
It's very different. It is so incredibly different because you are taking their property and you are using it in a way that they might not even approve of, right? They might not approve. Like, yeah, oh cool, you're getting views on TikTok. That's really cool. Oh my god, you're getting thousands of views. It's not worth the online clout. Like that it's
No.
not. And like I said, Japanese companies are not to be messed with. They are very serious. They are very cutthroat and they will come after you. The moment they figure that out, the moment they figure out people are using their models online, they will come after you. And
I feel like
I'm not
also
joking.
the moment they figure out like the voice acting companies
Mhm.
that people are taking their voice actors and making AIs out of them.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
These companies take their voice actors super seriously. Like everything's super controlled by the companies. That's why you don't hear a lot about their private life most of the time. You don't know who's dating who or anything because everything's very much controlled by
Absolutely.
these companies. So once they find
Absolutely.
out that people are taking these voice actors and making AIs out of them and oh, this is a problem. Once you start profiting off of those AIs,
Yes.
oh man.
And let me tell you, fair use laws do not work the same in Japan. They don't have them.
No.
They flat out do not have them. So if you're using like the models or you're using voices or whatever, fair use laws do not work in Japan and they do fine like that's why it's like if they fine you, you don't have to pay it because you're not in Japan, right? But
Mhm.
if you go to Japan, now you are you're setting foot on their land, and you will be either arrested or you have to pay the fine.
Yeah.
Or just don't go to Japan at all. Like to me, I'm like, that's not worth it. It's not worth the rip a model. And I know, look, I get it, right? I'm a VTuber. It's fun to have like a cool model who like, tracks your face and you have all these cool toggles and it's like really fun experience, and that the character follows you. But like taking somebody else's work is not good, and not risking your own like I can't even like well-being, not even, I don't know. Like you just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like people are gonna be like, oh well, isn't that the whole point of Vocaloid? Like, but here's the thing. Vocaloid producers are buying the software. So
Yes.
they have the right to use that software.
Yes.
And if they want to, they can make money off of it because they paid for it.
Yes.
But people making AI covers, or I have also seen people making voice banks out of like the Project Sekai voice actors. They did not consent to it. You're not buying a voice bank of, I don't know. I'll mention someone else other than Kentito because there's more there's more voice actors. I don't Chunichi Toki, you're not buying his voice bank. You created it without their permission and without their knowledge too, because they're not aware.
Mm-mm.
It's just
Absolutely not. Well,
it's just
and then
fucked
on
up.
top of that, the Vocaloids, like the characters, the whole point of it is for fans to create things with it,
Mhm.
right? That means like drawing. That means making, like someone could make a VTuber. People have made Miku VTuber models. I literally have one sitting in VTube Studio right now, like a one somebody made. Right, like those are allowed to be done because that's the point of Vocaloid, is that it's supposed to be creative, and it is fueled by the fandom. But what we're not doing is taking these Project Sekai characters and ripping the models out. Now on VR chat, I have found Project Sekai models on VR chat,
Mhm.
and also like the Vocaloid ones too, the Cryptonloids.
Mhm.
And the difference is that in VR chat, a lot of times you're not making videos for views, you're just hanging out with friends. So like these companies are never going to know that you have this model because you're not posting it online, right? Like if you downloaded these models from whatever website, because people have made tutorials on them how to download these models, and you're posting videos on TikTok, you are going to get in trouble. If you're like, I download this model and I'm just playing with it on my phone, there's no harm in that because they're never going to know about that.
Yeah.
Like, they're just never going to know. Right. But the moment you start like portraying the character on TikTok,
Ooh. Yeah.
because people role play as the characters with the models, you are going to get in trouble. You are going to get in so much trouble because you make the company look bad. Oh no, it's all over. And like I said, they do not play around.
I'll give you a little. I'm not gonna say what I do for my job, but it's in the nerdy field, and I deal with a lot of Japanese companies, including Sega.
Mm-hmm.
They're cutthroat. They're very strict about how you use like their property.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Don't. It's literally the worst thing you can do. Cause I couldn't even imagine doing something and them going, okay, we're gonna pay, like you're gonna have to pay either a $10,000 fine or you're never gonna come to Japan.
Not worth
Like,
it.
not worth it. Like, I know most of us want to go to Japan and visit. I know we all want to go to Akihabara, like, or Ikebukuro, like we all want to go to these places, just Tokyo in general, like, or, countryside, maybe like Hokkaido, like we all want to go to places in Japan, but like, is it really worth it for you as a teenager to play with these Project Sekai models and potentially get in trouble and never go to Japan? No, it's not, because that will ruin your dreams. It literally will, and it has happened to a lot of anime creators and even people who've played I guess this was a Japanese person who played a video game, and they like basically did a whole step by step playthrough, and It was not good. It was not good. They got fined a lot of money. So
Yeah, I can imagine.
they got fined a lot of money. But like, yeah, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Um I feel like we got really serious there.
We did.
I
I
was,
mean, it is serious. Like, I
because it
don't
is
think people
serious.
think of the. I don't think that people think of the consequences.
No, and I guess like as creators, as content creators, we are always thinking about potentially like what the consequences of things are, right? And like we play like if I play music on my stream, I'm like, yeah, I might get copyright strike for that. Like if I do, I'm
Yeah.
like, yep, that's the consequences of my actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, but like I'm fully aware of it, right? And but I think a lot of teenagers, Project Sekai fans are not aware of it because they just think, oh, like look at I ripped it from the thing, but they know nothing about copyright. They know
Yeah,
nothing
they
about
don't
fair
know.
use and all that stuff. And I think it's really important for if minors are listening to know that because like it is so incredibly serious and more than likely we're gonna probably clip this last section and I've definitely found like the videos and might like just stitch it with this video that we're gonna probably edit down of why doing that is bad.
Yeah, and I want to make it very clear that we're not making this whole episode just to shit talk on like Project Sekai fans. I love that fandom, but there is a very loud minority that's
Yes.
very ignorant and just careless.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like when we say things like, you have to that AI is immoral and not to use the models, because they're first of all, they're not your property, they're Sega's property. We're saying it because we don't want like history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Like we truly have your back. We welcome new Vocaloid fans and we
Yes.
want this community to keep growing.
Yes.
Um, because I mean, this new generation will produce the next generation of Vocaloid producers. Like maybe 10 years from now, one of these little Project Sekai fans will become the next, like, Giga P or
Yep.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you'll have a new wave of Vocaloid producers that will come because they got into it because of Project Sekai or
Yes.
because of lockdown or whatever it may be.
Like
So, like, we do have the best interest in heart.
like
We
I
just,
will I will maybe I definitely was pretty hard this episode, but it is a
Mhm.
lot of like pent up frustration for me, like as a creator who just tries to talk about Vocaloid and like
Yeah, yeah.
and it's just always Project Sakai that's brought up because like I didn't really vibe with Project Sakai. Like I didn't really like how the game played and I
Mhm.
prefer Project Diva, so I was just like, yeah, I'm just not for me. I'm going to just continue liking Vocaloid. But it's really hard when I see like I'm annoyed because it's like it's mostly the people coming into my comments and trying to correct me on things and be like, actually, because like that's what really like gets my gears going because like I've I have been somebody my entire life where people have been constantly trying to correct me. And I know I'm right because I'm neurodivergent as fuck. I have ADHD and I hyperfixate. So I know for a fact what I know is not wrong. Like I know
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? And so when people try to correct me on things, it really grinds my gears and makes me really dislike someone. Like, because it's like I don't mind if you got into Vocaloid from Project Sakai, but like understand that like when you are interacting with other Vocaloid fans, not all of them like Project Sakai.
Yeah.
Project Sakai did not birth Vocaloids.
And
And
it
that's
did not
what
save it either.
no, and it didn't save it either. And that's what I think that like a lot of Vocaloid fans hate is like that them telling them like, oh, it was dying or like it basically acting as if it birthed like this like Vocaloids. And it's just like, if you really are a fan of Project Sakai and Vocaloids, you should be doing your research to begin with, right? Like you should be like getting really into it and being like, oh my God, like I really like this song. Like who made this song, right? Did they make other songs, right? Instead of it just being all about the game and not paying attention to anything else. you know?
Like, here's my thing. Like, I think I mentioned it maybe in the social media episode that we did, which was what, our third.
Yeah.
One of the videos that got me the most backlash was a Project Sakai video.
Yeah.
I made that video because I was excited. Just the same way I'm excited about going to Miku Expo. I was excited about a freaking card in the game.
Hmm.
And just because I was excited, I got a slew of comments just calling me cringe and just basically trying to shoo me off the internet. And that's the problem. Like, if you find Vocaloid cringe, if you find certain creators cringe, just keep swiping away.
Block them.
Yeah. But, like, what? I don't understand why there's a. I mean, I guess it's just they're bored and have nothing else to do. But it gets really frustrating having to. Like, I love this game, but at the same time, I hate that loud minority because they
Yes.
really ruin it for everyone. And I have to constantly like be almost like defending Project Sekai in the fandom. Like, we're not
Hmm.
all like that,
But then it makes it
but
really hard.
it makes it very hard. It does.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly like I and you guys make it so obvious, like the little haters, because you always have Project Sekai profile pictures.
Hmm.
When I see an out of pocket comment, I'm like, ugh, do they have a Project Sekai profile picture? Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Ugh.
and that's the thing, because I feel like if you are a Project Sakai fan and a Vocaloid fan, it's very obvious when you are a Vocaloid fan.
Yeah.
Like, it's if you are just a Project Sakai fan, it is so incredibly obvious that you only play Project Sakai. Like, it is so it's night and day, right?
It
Because
is.
You mentioned Vocaloid, and mentioned producers, right? The Project Kai fans go, what do you mean, right? When it's been something that's been around for a really long time, and um like, I would love to share Vocaloid with a younger audience, right? Like,
Mhm.
because I love it that much, right? Like, I
Mhm.
love it that much. But, like, I cannot stand when people correct me, and it's
Yeah.
correct me or try to catch me in some kind of, like, gotcha moment, because it makes
Yeah,
me
they
feel like
do. They do a
shit.
lot of that. Yeah.
It makes me feel like shit, because as a woman, I go through that just being an anime fan, right?
Yeah.
And being in the Vocaloid fandom, like, getting that, like, and I've never experienced that until recently,
Yeah,
right? Like,
it only became a recent problem.
yeah, because, like, I've been in this fandom for a really long time, and it's only been recently where people have been trying to correct me, and it's all these really younger people who are like, actually," and I'm like, no, not
Mhm.
actually, like, more like, actually, Kaito is not the one who sings "If You Do Do." It's actually like,
Yeah. No, and, like, I get asked, but, like, because and this is mainly there's just, like, the English-speaking Project Sekai fandom,
Mhm,
like, why there's not more, like, adult creators talking about the game. Because 'Cause I'm probably one of the few ones that, like, makes the how-to videos and streams the game and stuff like that, and a lot of the other adults are, like, based in Japan and stuff like that, but there's really not that many English speaking like content creators that do a lot of content on Project Sakai.
mhm,
And the reason why is because of the fandom. And I've had this conversation with other, adult Project Sakai fans. Like, they would make this content, but they're so scared of the fandom because they're gonna attack them for anything.
yep,
For being cringe, for being too old for this game, like, we can't really show our enthusiasm for the game without being attacked.
yeah, which is why I think a lot of us nestle back into just the Vocaloids and the
Yeah.
Vocaloid fandom, because it's like we're all adults. A lot of people are adults in that fandom, and like they're like, we nestle back into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed, so, like, I'm friends with Creep P, uh who did, like, uh Novocaine, which is like a V4 flower song, or a V flower song, and they're great, right? And, like, when
Mhm.
I met them, and, like, I just talked about Vocaloid, and I was like, oh my god, I really like your songs, because they popped into my stream one day, Because they're another Gyaru VTuber, and I you know, they popped into my stream, and I was like, oh my god, I know you, I know who you are, hi, you know, and like it's great getting to talk to other Vocaloid fans. Like I love talking about Vocaloid and talking about our favorites and our favorite producers, and like it's such a like I've only had good experiences with Vocaloid fans when I meet them in person. Like I meet them at conventions and just like out and about. But it's only been recently where it comes from Project Sekai, where I've had so many bad and negative experiences that I've never had before, which is I think where a lot of my like kind of hatred for it comes from. Because again, I think just like enjoying the game is not bad, right? Like I'm like, it's not my cup of tea because again, I don't like rhythm games on phones. But like what it should have, the game should have been, it's a Vocaloid game and it includes like I feel like the Project Sekai characters should have been more like so much more side characters, because like they're included, but like the Vocaloids are kind of the main focus of it. But by making it kind of the other way around, it's caused this like weird obsession, like weird kind of like downplaying of like the actual Vocaloids, and like I don't know, like I feel like it's done more harm by focusing on these like original characters for the game, because like it feels like the Vocaloids are being tossed aside, and then there's a lot of them who are just getting like shit on for whatever reason, you know, like the people talking about Wowaka, right? And it's just like, oh my god, he's dead. Like, can we respect him, please? The man died at 31. Like, I swear, there's a curse with Vocaloid producers and 31. Because Sam Free, the one who did Luca Luca Night Fever, also died at 31 from heart failure. There's a goddamn curse. And like it makes me mad because like Wowaka is my favorite producer, and his songs mean so much to me. And he is okay. When he passed away in 2019, it was I remember too. I was sitting on my bed. This was before I even had my PC. I didn't even have a PC yet, and I was on my laptop sitting on my bed, and I was scrolling Twitter, and I saw that he had passed away. It was like, I think it was April 6th. He passed away. It might have been the 5th. I don't remember. It's Japan time, right? I'm pretty sure it was the 6th he passed away, but it was the 5th for us. And I remember being so incredibly devastated. Like, it was the hardest, like, quote unquote, celebrity death I had ever experienced. Because, like, before I was kind of like, that sucks. Like, that sucks. But Wowaka was the one that, like, made me cry. And, like, anytime, like, I think about him sometimes, like, I will start crying because that's how much it upset me. So seeing these Project Sekai fans shit on, like, Wowaka recently has really, like, made me in a really bad mood with them.
And with that clip specifically that became viral on TikTok, like with the fan just questioning like Miku crying and all of that, like okay, yes, you have Hatsune Miku, you see her, but she represented the whole fandom.
Yes.
Like the whole fandom was mourning his death.
Yes.
So like her tears were our tears.
Yeah.
I still can't watch that clip without like tearing up.
No. I can't watch the tribute part without tearing up. If they do the tribute at Miku Expo this next year, I'm gonna sob. Yeah. I'm gonna cry so hard. Like I'm gonna be like cosplaying Hatsune Miku, and I'm going to have like mascara. Maybe I'll just cosplay Rolling Girl Miku, and then like the makeup gets a mess. You know what? It'll be fine. It's part of the cosplay now.
Yeah, it's part of the cosplay.
It's part of the cosplay because
I'm for sure I'm gonna lose my voice at Miku Expo.
Oh,
absolutely.
And I'm gonna
cry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and they were definitely going to do it like the tribute in 2020, but obviously it didn't happen. So I think they're going to probably, and it actually, okay. No. I was about to say the show I'm going to is about a month after his passing. But I guarantee, because it is around the same time, they're going to do the tribute, because they never got to do the tribute in the US or in the North American tour. So if they do it, I'm going to sob. I'm going to cry, and it's going to be Tear City, because like Wowaka meant a lot to the Vocaloid fandom. Like so much, like more than you could ever imagine. Because Rolling Girl, his very first Vocaloid song, Miku song, changed the landscape of Vocaloid. Like you would not believe. Because like before Vocaloid, like this, like both Melt by Rio and Rolling Girl changed the landscape of Vocaloid with what you could do with it. Because before it was like very simple songs. It was very like, you know, like very simple melodies and stuff like that. But like these were like songs. Like they were songs, and everybody went, "Oh my god, you can do that with them?" I've like, and
people saw that potential finally.
Yeah, those songs brought potential and made what Vocaloid is today. Like without Rio and Wowaka, Vocaloid would not be, I don't even think it would be the way it is today without them, right? And a lot of people like, so that's why when I see people shitting on Wowaka, I can't really stand for it. Like I just can't, because like you are disrespecting something that shaped what you like now in the present. That would be like, is like an influential person in history. That would be like, it would be like shitting on Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like imagine like you're shitting on Michael Jackson, which his music, you know, like did so much for just music in general, right? It's the same thing. Like Wowaka is kind of like the Vocaloid fandom's Michael Jackson. I
mean, yeah, I think it's a fair comparison.
Yeah, like obviously he's not on any level with Michael Jackson, but like in terms
the impact.
It's the impact. Yeah, like the impact of it is like very like it's just on a smaller scale, you know? And so like it would be like someone shitting on Michael Jackson, and it's just like, no, you don't do that. Like you don't do that. You don't. It's like, okay, I have the TikTok people are gonna totally get this. Project Sekai fans who lift up all of their original characters in Project Sekai but shit all over Wowaka are the same exact people as the guy who made the TikTok about Taylor Swift being as famous as Michael Jackson was. Do you know that TikTok? Have you seen that TikTok?
I think I have.
Because it was some guy being like Taylor Swift is Michael Jackson famous, and then everyone's like, oh, hold up. It's what it reads to me. It's just it's what that reads to me. So before we end this episode, what songs are you excited about for Miku Expo? Do you have any predictions, or songs you'd like to see?
I definitely want to see. I mean, for sure we're getting some Michium. I love Michium.
Oh, I love Michium.
I would be happy, honestly, with any of them. But was it Ohero Julia Night?
Yeah, Ohera Julia Night. Yeah.
Yeah. I want that one.
Yeah, I want that one.
Just for the vibes.
I love that song so much. I really want to cover it.
Honestly, I would be okay with just like the best of the best. Like give me the greatest hits. I don't care if Rocky is overplayed. I want to experience Rocky live.
Rolling Girl.
Yeah, Rolling Girl for sure.
Oh god, if Miku performs Unknown Mother Goose as well too, I'm gonna cry. I would like to see Remote Control from Rin and Len.
Oh yeah.
Or Childish War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Childish War would be cool.
Okay.
Live.
I'd also like to see from Len. I'm trying to think of the songs he plays at Magical Mirai. Uh, I'd like to
I
see Holy Land's Explosion play in person. It was so funny. That song makes me laugh. It makes me laugh.
me being the Mako fan, I would love to see more Mako, but I know we're only gonna get probably like one song by
Yeah.
herself, and then she's just gonna do like I don't know
Maybe a
the
duet with
duo.
Kaito.
Yeah, some which I mean it is what it is. I mean I'll take on the rocks with Kaito. That's fine. I love that
Yeah.
song anyways.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
I would
would.
love to see like Change Me or nostalgic as well. Just again, I would be okay with like the greatest hits. You don't have to
Yes.
go and play like the underrated songs. Um,
I want to see Cantarella with Kaito and
ah,
Miku. That would be a
Miko,
good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Oh, for Luca, just be friends.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
specifically the English version of it with the rock leadist English lyrics. I
Mhm.
would like to see that one. I'm trying to think of any other for Rin. Lost One's Weeping
Yeah.
or Tokyo Teddy Bear.
Good teddy bear.
Yeah,
Mm.
that would be a good one too. Like all
I'm
the
learning it.
just classics, you know.
Yeah.
Or Meltdown. Oh no, Meltdown for Rin. Meltdown for
I
Rin.
mean, if Meltdown is not played, I'm gonna riot.
I Meltdown. Okay, Meltdown was ahead of its time. Like I truly
Meltdown is
believe
so good.
I've listened to that one so many times. So many times. It's such a good one. So good. Also, uh so for the people going to Miku Expo, just as a forewarning, I guess we should talk about some of the etiquette too. This is gonna be a really long episode. It's probably gonna hit about 2 hours. But
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot to talk about, you know.
okay,
Um,
let's go. Miku Expo.
Miku Expo. We're gonna talk about etiquette now. Etiquette about Miku Expo. Concert
Mhm.
etiquette. I've
I
only been
have my
to
glasses
one
on.
concert in my life, so this is on you. What's some concert etiquette?
Okay, concert etiquette. Um, First of all, basically basic common knowledge, basic manners apply for concert etiquette. Don't be a jerk.
Hmm.
That means if you have a general admission standing room ticket, don't show up like at 8 p.m. and try to push your way to the front.
No.
People will be pissed because a lot of people, and this I'm one of those people, like to show up 5 hours, maybe 4 hours before the doors open to line up, talk with other fans, interact with them, and also get a good spot in the front.
Yeah.
If you start being a little shithead and start pushing your way to the front, not only is it very disrespectful towards everyone who chose to wait all those hours, it's just uh, you don't do that. That's like the worst of the worst.
Yep.
Also, I get the fact that people get very excited and want to record and take pictures, but you also have to be mindful that you could be potentially blocking the view from the person behind you.
Yep.
It's fine taking a little picture, maybe a 30-second clip that you're going to post on like TikTok story or Instagram story, Snapchat, whatever. We're fine. Don't be recording the whole damn song and blocking the person behind you.
Oh my
They
god.
did not they didn't pay to see the show through your phone. Be
I
considerate.
literally I literally have seen so many videos of people like
Hmm.
holding up their phones for like the entire song. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand because like I went to a concert a couple days ago.
Hmm.
And yeah, the crowd was a lot older. But like I pulled out I think my phone to record like just a snippet, like a 20-second snippet just so I could like
Yeah.
post it or like share it with somebody, right? Like share it with friends or share it with, Jojo, right? But
Hmm.
like I spent most of the concert listening and participating instead of holding my phone. And I'm going to be at Miku Expo. I'm going to want to experience it. I don't want to pull out my phone and like record the whole thing because to be honest, like there's no point if why be there if you're just going to be looking at a screen while holding up your phone,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So don't do that. And also on the topic of phones,
Yep.
please, for the life of
No
God,
flash
no flash
photography.
photography. Don't do it from the back camera. Don't do it with your front camera. Absolutely no flash photography. It's not only, well, in the case from Miku Expo, if you're in the front and using flash photography, I'm pretty sure they're gonna give a warning to not use flash photography
Yep.
because, I mean, spoiler, you're watching a hologram.
Yeah, there's like a little glass, like plexiglass
Mhm.
type thing. It's gonna reflect. But speaking of reflect, pen lights.
Oh yeah,
Miku
that too.
Expo only pen lights. Like
Yeah,
if they
don't bring
have
your
to be,
K-pop. Don't bring your K-pop light
or
sticks.
your Love Live, or
Yeah, like
whatever.
I have an Utapri light stick. I'm not
Yep.
bringing that with me.
Yep. You have to if you're gonna have a light stick, it has to be Miku Expo licensed. Because the
Hmm.
reason is those pen lights, like I'm literally holding mine in my hand right now from 2020. These are a lot less bright than other pen lights because they are less reflective on the screens that they use, the glass that they use. So that way, like there's not a bad glare. So it has to be the Miku Expo one. It's not them being greedy. It's not them like it's not corporate greed going, oh hey, uh, you know, like you only have to use these. So you have to use these ones because we want all of your money. It's literally that they are made for Miku Expo.
Yeah,
God, I know
and
we didn't talk about this at the beginning though, but like I mean we did talk about how much it was a shit show, but like
yeah. Oh, the pre-sale.
but the
Ugh,
pre-sale was the worst.
it literally was.
I never
It
got my
was.
email.
I got it super late.
I'm just like
Super.
I don't understand like I feel like it was such a bad idea for them to do it that way. And like it's funny because like I even before 7 o'clock, I
Hmm.
made sure that my like email settings were like all on, and I
Yeah,
still never got the email.
yeah. A lot of people didn't get it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've been to a lot of concerts for
Uh huh.
those of you who are listening. So I've done a lot of pre-sales. I've done pre-sales with just like a code that you put in Ticketmaster, and I've also done pre-sales done by like the fan clubs.
Yeah.
And usually, like anything that is you pay for something to get a pre-sale, usually you get a different
Code.
like a yeah, not either a different code or you go through their own online store.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought with Crunchyroll they were gonna give either individual codes, and I mean you would have to be obviously subscribed to get an individual code. I
Yeah.
thought that's how they were gonna do it. Or they would have a select number of tickets available through the Crunchyroll store
Yeah.
that you would just be like, okay, I'm going to Arizona or Portland or whatever, because that's how a lot of the fan clubs do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you would just go through their, online store and just get the tickets that way, not through Ticketmaster. But they sent out a freaking a generic code. And of course, like Stella didn't get the email. I got it very, very late.
Mm-hmm.
People started wondering, like, what the hell is going on? So then the code started getting shared on Twitter,
Yeah.
started getting shared on Reddit, and also the Crunchyroll like forums and stuff like that. So that meant at the end of the day, no one needed to pay for Crunchyroll
You
Premium.
know what's even funnier though is that one of the venues 2 days prior
Yeah,
had
they leaked
released the
it.
code. They
Yeah.
posted the code, and I'm like, oh my god! And they ended up deleting it, but like it was just so funny. And like I think this is what they should have done. They should
Mhm.
have sent out emails. Well, first of all, they should have just like waited for pre-sales for like 2 weeks if they're gonna do that, right? Because
Yeah.
they announced it and they were like, oh yeah, tickets are gonna go on sale in 2 days for pre-sale.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what? That was like
Yeah.
breakneck speed. Because usually they announce, and then a few weeks later they'll do the sale, right?
Yeah.
They'll tickets go
Hmm.
up. Not 2 days later. That was like insane. That was
Yeah.
so insane. But what they should have done is sent out emails before 7 o'clock, or like not
Oh
even before
yeah.
seven,
It
like
was
maybe a day or two. I don't know.
the fact that they were gonna send out emails at the same time that the pre-sale started, and I don't know why the hell they decided to do the pre-sale on a Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Oh my god, I was
Like
so
it just
tired.
made absolutely no sense at
Yeah,
all.
it made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. Not to mention, the ticket prices for some venues were insane.
Dude,
Like,
they varied so much. Like, because I
Mhm.
before the pre-sales began, like I was on, of course, TikTok, just kind of trying to get an insight from people that have gone to Miku Expo in the past. So a lot of them were like, "Oh yeah, they're like around the $50 price range." So I'm
Mhm.
kind of expecting that the same prices this year. Holy shit, no.
No.
Starting prices for like Phoenix, Arizona were 75.
Yep, it was
And of
75
course,
for me too.
yeah, and of course you're going through Ticketmaster. I fucking hate Ticketmaster so much.
Yeah.
So then with the fees, that ticket was 100 and something dollars.
Yep, mine was like 95.
Mm.
And it was ridiculous. Well, and here's the thing too is like I actually found my email from 2019 of my
Mhm.
2020 ticket. It was with the fees and everything was $89. Right? So it was probably around like $60 I think for the
Yeah.
the ticket. And then plus all the fees, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
like I saw people talking about how insane the prices were at some of the other places. I looked at Chicago,
Yeah.
and Chicago's were like the cheapest one I saw was $500.
Yep.
And then like 700 for like the very front. Now I'm going to the DC show,
Mhm,
and the general admission is all on the floor. Like it's floor.
mhm.
Right? So I just had to pay general admission. There was no like not VIP. Like I kind of wanted VIP, but like honestly, like it's just a goodie bag you get.
Yeah.
And like but there was no special seating for it at DC. Like there
Mhm.
is, but it's like up in the balconies, and I'm like, "No, I want to be in the
No,
action."
yeah, like, I wanna be on the floor with the fans. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
with
be seated.
yeah, I don't want to be seated. Like I was like, yeah, like I'll just buy all that stuff if I want it, you know? Like I'll actually buy it. But
Yeah.
like yeah, my ticket wasn't that much, but like the Chicago one, oh my god, that was great. I'm like $500. I'm like I was like I've never seen Miku Expo be that expensive, right? Because it's a 1 day thing and it's like for a
Mhm.
few hours, right?
Yeah,
Imagine
500, that's like that's more than a music festival.
yeah, like that's insane prices. And like I saw like the other thing too that like really sucks for like how quickly these tickets went on sale was that like the minors who want to go now have to ask their parents, "Hey, I want to go to this concert. The tickets go on sale tomorrow. It'll be like $400 for us to go."
Yeah.
Right? And like I don't know about you, but like probably most parents don't have like two, three, $400 just laying around for them to go to a concert.
Mm.
You
I
know, like if they were like, "Hey, I want to go to this concert. It's happening next year, and it's going on sale in like a month or two. Like tickets are going on sale like in a month or two." That gives them time to like save up, you know,
Mhm.
and like be like, "Okay, yeah, we can go. Like we'll save that up, or like you can do extra chores or whatever." But because it was so
Yeah.
fast, like I feel like a lot of people didn't have the money for it, you know,
Mhm.
because they didn't think it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah,
sucks.
I was not a fan of how it was announced. I mean, I'm happy that it got announced and
Yes.
everything, but it I don't know, it just seemed very inconsiderate the way it all happened.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because I'm
yeah,
like, it's
was not.
happening in spring of next year. So like,
Mhm.
yes, they can announce it, but like tickets like I think Miku Expo was announced in 2019, probably around the same time, but tickets didn't go on
Mhm.
sale for like till I think December.
Yeah.
Like it was December. It might have been like they might have announced in October, maybe even November, but I know tickets did not go up until like later.
Mhm.
And so like it was just so inconsiderate. And I don't know if that was because of Miku Expo or if that's because of Crunchyroll.
I feel like it's because of
I
Crunchyroll.
feel like it's because of Crunchyroll.
I mean, I'm ruining all my chances to ever work with them.
Yeah, but I really feel
But
like it was because of
they really
Crunchyroll.
fumbled the bag. They
They
did.
they did. I really am like you really fumbled the bag because it was the point in having like
Well,
look. Mhm.
I had people tell me it's like, "Oh, should I get the premium account?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, because that they made such a big fuss about having the premium account
Yeah.
to access this pre-sale. So you had people subscribing to their service in hopes to get that code, and some of them never got that code. Some of
Yeah.
them didn't even get their ticket, even with the code leaking everywhere online. Because
Yep.
for a lot of cities, I mean, the pre-sale sold out.
Yep.
So what was the point? I mean, I would be asking for a refund, frankly. Like,
I would too. I would be asking for a refund because I'm like, I paid
Mhm.
for your premium service just to get to the presale, and I didn't get it. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't even get an email. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if like they should have. There's so many other ways they could have done it, and
Yeah.
like, am I glad that the code got leaked because then I got my tickets? Yes, but I'm
Yes.
also not happy about it because then general people who did not pay for premium also got their tickets, and people who
Mm-hmm.
paid premium didn't. So
Yeah.
that's like really messed up, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's so incredibly messed up. And like
It was a shit show. Like, also
crunch.
what happened, like, with
Mhm.
my pre-sale with the Phoenix, Arizona one,
Yeah.
was that the code was not working till like 7:37. They activated the code on Ticketmaster.
Oh my
So for the
god.
longest time, like, I kept plugging it in. I'm like, oh, invalid code, refresh, invalid code. I'm like, what the? This is the code.
You know what's really funny too is like I didn't get the code, and so before I even got the code, I kept trying different codes. Like so I went like Miku X Miku.
Oh, I was doing the same thing.
I
I was doing
probably
like
could have got to
Crunchyroll.
Miku X Crunchyroll at some point. I did do Crunchyroll Miku
Yeah,
at one point, but
yeah.
I was
Mhm.
so close. I could have probably gotten it if I just kept going because like, it was
Yeah, yeah.
that generic.
It was, yeah. And then
Ah!
I heard from some of my followers that, like, the Orlando, Florida one,
Yeah.
like, the Ticketmaster listing wasn't working till like an hour, so like at 8 a.m. their time.
Oh my god.
Detroit, Michigan also had a huge problem with like the code not working. So it was just, it was horrible.
Yeah, no, I was about to say it was the worst experience. Like
It,
I'm so mad at Crunchyroll right now.
it was easily one of the most stressful pre-sales that I've done, and I've done a lot for even like much bigger concerts,
Yeah.
like arena shows, and they have not been this stressful.
No. Never. They've never been this stressful. But yeah, I think that probably concludes this episode of
Yeah, I mean, we've been chatting it up.
I know we it's this 2 hour episode. So I apologize for how long it is, but we had a lot to say.
It's our 10th episode. We had to celebrate, okay?
And we're celebrating. Yay! 10th episode. Woo! Yeah, and we'll be back for the 11th episode next week. Woo! Yeah.
We're
Uh
excited.
But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts. A lot of you don't. And I know you guys listen, but a lot of you don't. So
Follow us.
there's a way to subscribe on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.